For if we sin willfully. Well, has anyone ever heard this before? I'm sure you have. I know I have. And I've heard it been told so many ways. And I want to take a look at it, take a little bit closer look at this. And let's see if we can understand this. Okay? And let's go to where the only place you will find the sentence. It's found in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26. For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. Now, we're going to find out, we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to find out what exactly the writer of Hebrews is talking about here. Some people say, well, he's warning people. No, he's not warning anyone. He really not. People say, well, he's talking to believers. Well, yes, he is talking to believers. But he's also talking to non-believers. And he's also including himself, as we're going to find out. Some verses we could read, and we'll get them right there. Just reading the verse, self-explanatory verse. Some of them we have to read a little bit more, get the context, maybe get the chapter. Let's understand this chapter since we're reading this verse. And some places we got to go through practically the whole book. We can go back right here in the book of Hebrews. And let's see what this writer was talking about. We know that he was talking about the superiority of Christ. He was talking about how great Jesus is, right? From the beginning, he's saying that he's more superior than the prophets. Huh? He's greater than the angels, more better than Moses and Aaron's priesthood. He starts, and you can look it up. Look these up. We can get into that and read about it. Then we can talk about the new covenant. What covenant? The one the Father made with the Son. How that new covenant is better promises. It's a better sanctuary. How? Because it's not a sanctuary in this world. It's not a worldly sanctuary. Better sacrifice. Because Jesus is the ultimate sacrifice. Jesus is the sacrifice. Jesus is the altar. It is his blood. He is the Holy One. He is the veil. His body is the veil. Jesus is our righteousness. He's our sanctification. And we can go on and on. But what I want to do is I want to kind of look at this verse a little bit closer. For if we sin willfully, he's including himself. If you have a book that says, for if you continue in sinning, get rid of it. That's not a Bible. That's a corrupted translation. Come on. You got to just get rid of that. But look at what the writer of Hebrews is saying here. He says, for if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth. Can you see that? Huh? The knowledge of the truth. We have received the knowledge of the truth. What is the knowledge of the truth? Well, obviously, it's the gospel. It's knowing the truth. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Now, does it say that after we have been born again? He didn't say that. After we have received salvation. No, he didn't say that. He said after we have received the knowledge of the truth. Huh? For if we sin willfully, he's giving us a point. He's making a point here. For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. There really doesn't. So what is this willfully sin? Well, the willfully sin is knowing the truth, but rejecting it. Does religion reject Jesus, the truth? Of course they do. They believe in their religion. Religion is just man trying to achieve acceptance with God through their own works, their own efforts. How about people that say, well, you could lose your salvation? Yeah, that's willful sin. They're not believing in the cross, in the finished work of Christ. It's exactly true. But look, notice how he says, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. That's true. Because nobody else can help you. He just got through saying that talking about the prophets, Moses, angels, Aaron's priesthood. None of that is better than Christ. So there is no way that anything else can save that person. And what person? He says we. If we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. That's true. The willful sin is the rejection of Christ. That's what it is. Remember when Paul was writing to in Galatians chapter 3, verse 1, when he says, "O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you, that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you." Just among them. They went back, they were going back to sacrifices, going back to ceremonial laws. In Galatians 4:11, he says, "I am afraid of you, lest I have bestowed upon you labor in vain." It's like, man, it's just worthless what I told you? You don't believe it? Anyone, even in the Old Testament, did they all believe? I mean, think about it. From the start, the gospel, it's all been through faith in God. That's what it is, believing in God. Believing in the Messiah, believing in Jesus coming. It's from the beginning. Ever since God covered Adam and Eve, Abel's offering, we need to remember that. What was the ceremonial laws? The sacrifices they were bringing, it was depicting what Christ was going to do for us, right? So when he did come, and those people knew, and they were told about the gospel, they were told about Jesus Christ, but they went back to ceremonial laws. They went back to the commandments. They went back to all of that, and they were not believing. They were non-believers. Imagine that. Oh, they're probably highly religious people, but they were not believing. Let's continue. I want to read a few more verses from here. "For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries." Now, are believers adversaries of God? No. They're children of God. These are non-believers now. It is non-believer. He's making a point. "For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth." Hey, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. We know that. So nobody can help you. It's not going to be any more sacrifices because Jesus is the only one. People, if they've rejected it, that's it. They go back to the blood sacrifices of animals. They're not believing. They're non-believers is what they are. It doesn't matter how much they read the scroll of Isaiah. And it doesn't matter. They're just non-believers. People that believe that keeping the commandments is what's going to help you to get to heaven, they're non-believers. People that feel that, hey, I might just lose my salvation. I hope I make it. You're a non-believer. How can you say that you're a believer in the gospel, in the finished work of Christ? You, my friend, are willfully sinning. Think about that. Verse 28, "He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses." Well, of course, he despised the law of Moses. Does it say he hated God and this and that? He didn't even know God. He just died without mercy. Come on. 29, "Of how much sorer punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who hath trodden under foot the Son of God, and hath counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing, and hath done despite unto the Spirit of grace." Wow. True rejection there of what? Of Christ. Has he trodden underfoot? No, obviously he can't. Nobody's greater than Jesus. No prophet, no angel. Moses, not even the priesthood, nothing is more powerful. He is superior. So someone rejecting him, it's just like spitting at the blood of Christ and just ignoring the grace of God. It's exactly true. Now, do I believe that everyone that believes that they can lose their salvation is not saved. No, I didn't say that. But anyone believing that is actually not believing what Christ did at the cross. I do not know if you're saved or not. I do not know. I don't know if anyone's saved. Just by looking at them, hearing them, they can fool me. God knows. Only God knows the heart. But I will let you know what the writer of Hebrew is pointing out. That's what he's doing. He's making a point. Okay? Blessed be the name of the Lord.